I really don't know what to make with James Paxton. There's a lot to like, and there's also a lot to dislike with Paxton.
Sure.
Last year, he hit a career high 121 innings in the majors. He's got a total of 286 in 4 seasons. I mean, the guy is already, 28?
Yep.
And it just seems like the clock is ticking way too fast on this guy's career for somebody that we had a lot of promise in. Now, adding to the disappointments with Paxton, I personally feel like the Mariners overhype their prospects and do a poor job developing them. So the track record is there to see that all these guys we thought were going to be superstars bottomed out, or just average or decent players at that. So Paxton, I think, is a little bit can buck that trend a little bit, but to this point, he hasn't really delivered on it, mostly because of health, more so than talent and stuff. But speaking of the stuff that there is to like and actually kind of love about Paxton, he went from throwing his cutter roughly 5% of the time to it jumped up to 15% in 2016. He changed his arm slot, got a little lower with it, added velocity. I'm talking like 2 miles per hour on his fastball, more velocity. His swing and strike rate was up to 12%. Like I said, he really did a lot to kind of redefine himself as a pitcher. And this is kind of that age where we've seen other pitchers take enormous leaps from being kind of somebody we were hoping for, maybe not panning out, to, wow, look at this guy, we shouldn't have written him off yet. So I'm curious what you think about Paxton. Is he somebody that you're really going all in on? Because he's going in the range of Carlos Rodon, Sonny Gray, who we've covered, and Robbie Ray, who we just spoke about. He's going in that territory right now for ADP. So is that somebody you're willing to make an investment on?
Yeah, and I would say of that group, he's the one I'm probably most likely to draft at that spot. Though Sonny Gray would be tempting. I know God strike me dead with all the hate that we got for the Sonny Gray love last week. I'm still sticking by it. But enough about Sonny Gray. As for Paxton, I love him. Lefty, has that big fastball, can hit 97, 98. So he's throwing upper 90s with the fastball. And as you mentioned, it's a great point. He started mixing in the cutter more. And that cutter is actually his best pitch. When you look at pitch values, it was almost a 10, on a Fangraphs rating scale, which is great. So it's a great secondary pitch from the mix, with the change. And I believe he throws a curveball as well. So he's got a good arsenal there. The biggest issue with him has always been health. The production's always been good when he's been up and making his starts. Obviously, 121 innings, was a career high. I think he probably pitched 20 to 30 innings in the minor leagues. So, if next season he can get to 160, 170, 180 innings even, I think 180 is about as much as you could hope for. You could, certainly be looking at significantly, next level production from him, just in terms of the counting stats and all that sort of stuff, because the peripherals have always been there. He's always had a decent K per nine, somewhere in the 8s or the 9s, and he's got excellent control. I think if you look at what his control, what his walks per nine were last year, somewhere right under 2, I think it was 1.8. Just goes to show you that sort of elite Phil Hughes kind of control. Hopefully he can end up with better results than Phil Hughes.
Well, that just also goes to show you that that kind of control doesn't necessarily make for a great pitcher. But as you said, I mean, everything with Paxton looks good, but the innings. And, it's kind of unfair to say, and I don't want to draw this comparison too much, but when we talk about hitters, when we talk about Giancarlo Stanton and Mark Trumbo, we're talking about Trumbo might be the safer pick just because he's going to give you similar production to what Stanton's done to this point in his career, because he's been able to stay healthy for larger parts of the season.
Absolutely.
When you're talking about a guy like Paxton and a guy like Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray's already done it at least once. He's gotten 170 innings, and there's room and hope and belief to think that he can do at least that, if not add to that. Paxton hasn't done it once yet, so until he does it, it's kind of unfair. But if you got to take a choice between the two, while he looks phenomenal, it's going to be potentially a wasted roster spot. So, but it really, more than anything, speaks to being another prime example of how and why you can and should wait on starting pitching in the draft this year. Because you start getting to the rounds we're talking about, the pitchers in the 40s through 60s and 70s, and there's a ton of value there. So don't feel like you have to reach for pitching this year.
Yeah, and I think these are two great examples of that, especially when you mentioned. I think everybody that we've pretty much talked about on the show has been, from Duffy to Sonny Gray, right on through here. You got to look for guys that were either hurt and they had a prior track record, like somebody like Sonny Gray, or people that made big jumps in terms of swing and strike rate and some of those underlying stats that people can't see unless they're really digging into the numbers. And obviously, Ray and Paxton are both examples of that.